Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, February 25th, and I thank you very much for joining in to our weekly PPACA webinars. I do have a lot of information to get through today, and certainly want to give enough time to have you ask your questions, so we'll get right into the agenda. Just with a quick show of hands, if you can see my screen, if you could just click on your hand icon, I'd appreciate it. Awesome, great. At least a few of you can see it. So let's revisit the Highmark Active Rx. David asked a question, or somebody asked a question last week about the maintenance meds that have quantity limitations. And I did find out from Highmark that not all maintenance meds are subject to this mandatory Active Rx selection. So they will be informed if they are, your customers will be informed if they are on medications that fall under this Active Rx mandatory selection. And again, what will happen is your client will get 3 refills. On the 3rd refill, they'll have to finally make a decision whether to have the medication picked up at retail or mail order. If they don't make a decision, that medication is the cost of the insured at 100%. Once they make that decision, it will go back to falling under their health plan. But, again, you can see the importance of making sure that your clients understand what the options are and making a decision, whatever that decision is. The next bullet point is something that we talked about last week, and I did, again, include the complaint form for your consumers for the Pennsylvania Insurance Department. I really do think that as agents are, really leaving this market or getting squeezed out of this market, and more insureds are faced with difficult decisions, plans that they don't understand, that there are going to be a lot of issues. As the networks narrow and as this health insurance law continues to be implemented, there will be more and more complaints. And I do think that our only hope is to have the insurance department understand what we as brokers do to protect the insurance department and the consumers from these complaints. So again, I think it's important that if you do have a consumer that calls you and they have a complaint, certainly try to rectify that if it's your client, but also encourage them to lodge a complaint with the insurance department, because that's where they're going to stand up and take notice that brokers are needed in this industry and play a very valuable role. So, commission delays. Didn't expect it. Did expect some issues, but the delays are a surprise. So earlier this week, you received an email about Capital Blue Cross. What they've decided to do is for January, February, and March effective dates, they're going to take a snapshot of the block of business as of February 9th and pay an estimated compensation in the March run, which will come out in April. And then in the April run, which will come out in May, they will correct any inconsistencies, errors, and also grab any cases that were left out, that were sold after February 9th, or they didn't have record of after February 9th. So it's not great news. It certainly wasn't expected based on the information that they were giving to us, but unfortunately, that is going to happen. So expect your first Cap Blue Cross commission payment sometime in April, and then the corrections in May. We're not getting paid either, so I just want you to know that we're not withholding any of your commission while we get ours. Aetna Coventry, there was just a blast that went out. This will also be in my newsletter, and they are paying the January and February at the end of February, so it should be coming out soon, and then we'll process that commission statement and pay it for you. But just wanted you to be mindful of that. So on to the subject at hand, special election periods. What's a producer to do? I don't know. I have no sage words of advice. I can tell you that I do have some additional information into the Pennsylvania Insurance Department. Dana provided, thank you Dana, if she's on the call today, provided some good documentation, and I did pass that on to the Insurance Department, trying to figure out a way and under what circumstances an agent can receive compensation from a consumer for processing business. So they have that. They're working on it. Different agent partners are also working on through different avenues. The big I agents. So we're all trying to do what we can do, but it's becoming obviously more and more difficult. I don't think that any insurance carrier can expect us to do business for free, and it's very telling that all these carriers are following suit because the SEP business is so volatile. But what was really interesting, and this will be in my newsletter as well, is a blast that came out from CMS yesterday that basically says that in the next few weeks, even the FFM will be requiring proof of special election periods and qualifying events. So, that's definitely going to be something that is going to increase our workload for those that continue to write the individual business, but it's also going to just be another layer of possible issues with the consumers and the marketplace. So that, again, is in my newsletter, and there's pretty good information on what's required and how CMS is going to ask for these items. There's also information that they're going to be adding, pardon me, they're going to add information for the agents, more strict language so that they truly understand that they're required to provide true answers, and that they may ask to provide additional information. And when they are applying under a qualifying event, they're going to ask more specific questions about that specific qualifying event. So our jobs are not getting any easier, and I guess the rhetorical question, what's a producer to do? The answer is, I just don't know. But I thought it was important to at least let you know what's going on in the SEP world. And just so you know, as of 5/1 effective dates, we will only have one carrier in Pennsylvania paying commissions, and that's Independence Blue Cross in the 5-county Philly area on the individual under 65 segment. As of 4/1 effective dates, Capital Blue Cross is discontinuing any commission payment. I did send that blast out on Monday. That does not affect your 1/1, 2/1, and 3/1 effective dates. They will continue to pay. If you write something for 4/1, you will not receive compensation 4/1 through the end of the year. UPMC, as of 5/1, is discontinuing, as of 5/1 effective dates, is discontinuing commission payments. So again, that leaves one carrier, independents only. So our easy referral program for the under 65 in our enrollment services, we are going to be discontinuing those. Obviously, we can't pay referral fees or do the work of enrolling folks for free, unfortunately. So you'll be getting information on that if you did participate in our enrollment services. For those of you that are interested, I think that on our website, it would be very important to you and beneficial to you to go to our GEMINI tab and look at our new GEMINI partnership. This has been developed over the last year and a half, and we rolled it out the beginning of this year. And what it is really just, as it says, it's an elite level of partnership, and it's only at URL. And what it does is benefit you and certainly benefit you financially in a lot of other ways to bring all of your business to URL. Many of you do that already, and we wanted to reward those that do that and also entice those that maybe want to simplify their business model and come to one brokerage house. So on our website, if you go to the GEMINI tab, you'll find out all about it. If you have additional questions, please give me a call. Happy to talk to you about the details. the FTC scam, our next bullet point, just real quick on that. I did receive an email that there are outfits out there that are calling people and telling them that they're not insured and telling them that they're going to be subject to the tax penalty and gathering information, asking for social, etc. Clearly, this is a scam. So I would just want you to be mindful of that. So if your consumers call, just hopefully you can let them know, obviously not to give any social over the phone for somebody that they don't know. And that brings us to our open forum. Hopefully you guys have a lot of questions today. Hopefully they're questions I can answer. Just while you are putting your thoughts together and asking the questions, our next webinar is next Thursday, the 3rd at 9:30, so hopefully you can join in. Jay says, I believe a delay in commission should be a complaint filed to the PID. Well, Jay, I would agree with that, and trust me, I'm sure they have a lot of complaints, and some of them are from us as well. Brandy asks if agents are allowed to charge a consultant fee, and the PID says no. Again, Dana, one of my agent partners that's usually on the calls, did provide a lot of documentation directly from the insurance department's website, so I sent that over Tuesday, again, to the Deputy Insurance Commissioner and the Consumer Advocate for the Insurance Department, seeing if they can revisit this. And again, I asked the question, under what circumstances can an agent charge a fee? So hopefully we'll get a different answer since it's not a yes-no answer. So Brandy, the answer right now is no, but trust me, we're trying to figure out any way that we can do this as well. I do know that some agents are charging. I can tell you that we're not, because we've been told we cannot, but I know that some are, and you know, you're going to have to make your own decisions on that. But at this point, the PID says no. Jay says, what value is the letter from Aetna stating that I am to be recognized as a chairman for commissions if I cannot get paid on time or offer a product during SEP? Should this be sent to the PID? Well, again, Jay, I don't know that it's something that the PID really cares about. This SEP business is so volatile with people coming in and out that no carriers want the SEP business. In fact, Aetna Coventry on the EBIX quoting portal told them to take their rates off, so they're not even quoting them. That's how bad these carriers don't want this SEP business. I do believe, even though it's another level of work on our end, I do believe that the FSM requiring proof of SEP business or a qualifying event is a move in the right direction. It's going to protect the risk pool. But again, this block is so out of whack with the risk loss that I don't know. I really just don't know what anyone wants to do. There might be a world where no carrier wants this block, and they'll make their products and pricing to a point where it's unaffordable or unattractive. So again, it's anyone's guess. We're watching it closely. We intend to be in this market for as long as they allow us, but we're not going to be able to do it and lose money, of course. Scott says, appears that the original thinking to eliminate brokers in the individual market has been accomplished. I do believe there's a lot of that. I don't know that that's their ultimate objection or I can't even think today, their goal, but it certainly has affected a lot of agents and jumped out of this market. That's one of the things that we did bring to the insurance department. What's a consumer to do? Where are the consumer protections? Because we all know that all of us that have dealt with the FSM, what consumers' experiences are, and they're not getting proper insight. They're not licensed agents that are giving this recommendation and advice, and consumers will have to have some recourse in protecting them from loss. The assisters don't have errors and omissions. We do. The carriers are not really giving sound advice as well. So, You know, I don't know where it's going to end up, but I do believe that agents are needed more than ever. I think we all understand that, but that's the fight that we have to fight, and that comes from consumer complaints, not from agents complaining, unfortunately. Dave says, has anyone used Ameriflex as a TPA for GroupHRA Administration? Dave, I know of them. I've not used them personally, or we've not used them within URL. We use other ones, but I've not heard any complaints about them. I'd be interested in anyone in the crowd that that can give any insight on that if they've used Ameriflex to help Dave out. Michael says, when does the referral program end? Well, Michael, it pretty much ends as of tomorrow. So, you know, if you have some clients, let us know. And Dana says she is on the call. Well, thank you, Dana. Thank you for doing that research, and it's in the hands of the insurance department right now, so let's see if it makes any headway. Dave says, do you anticipate the providers will go back to commissions for open enrollment 1/1/17? I do, Dave, but again, I don't know. You know, we won't know until early fall at best. I do believe that they will pay commissions. The big question is what commissions? Steve says, say that again, carriers had their rates removed from quote sites. Is that why I logged in one day to find INSX had removed all the carriers but CBC? I put them back, but I wondered what happened there. You know, I don't know. I didn't see that on INSX, Steve. I know it on the EBIX quoting portal. Aetna Coventry wasn't on there, and I think there were others on there. Clearly, they just don't want the business. You know, and the way to do that, Highmark, of course, did what they did. They thought that if they don't allow online sales, that would deter business. If they don't pay compensation, it would deter business. But bottom line, they're still getting the business because it's the law. So, you know, I don't know what the answer is, Steve. I really don't. Dave says, will Highmark and Capital pay commission on short-term insurance? They absolutely will. But remember, short-term insurance, as attractive as it is, and maybe the only option during special election periods, does not satisfy the individual mandate. So they would be subject to the individual tax penalty. Jeff says, have you heard anything about the same thing happening to small group commissions? I have not, Jeff. I know that they're pretty stable, and at least the grandmothered block they really want to protect. So I don't, the carriers have not been changing the group compensation. I don't anticipate that, certainly for 16. What that means in 17 or as of 10/1 of 17 more specifically when the grandmothered plans and that profitable or the more profitable block of business goes away, I don't know. So I've not heard anything, and so far the carriers on the group side have not made any changes. And Jay says, would it be in our best interest to meet with our PA state representatives? Absolutely. That's never a bad thing for the state reps to know. It is our state. It is their constituents that are being affected. I would just advise you to go in as an issue with consumer protections versus we're not getting paid. You know, they look at that as we're just complaining that we're losing money, which is a valid complaint, but for the state reps and the insurance department, they're more mindful when it comes to consumer protections than whether we're getting a paycheck or not. Jim says that he missed the commission payment delays from CBC. Could you repeat? Absolutely. Jim, for Cap Blue Cross commissions, your 1/1, 2/1, and any 3/1 effective dates will pay in the March run, which will be paid in April. We'll get it in April, and it will reflect any business from a snapshot as of 2/9. So it's going to be an estimate based on the 2/9 snapshot of your block. They're going to pay that out, and then they're going to reevaluate on the April run, which will pay in May, to make any corrections and pick up any lost cases. So it's going to be a mess, a real mess. Mike says a short-term medical plan, obviously not qualified, but is the tax penalty prorated based on the number of months without coverage for that year? It is. You know, they're not going to get credit for the short term. So if they've been out of coverage 9 of the 12 months, then it would be prorated, you know, 9/12 of that tax penalty. But again, if they're covered under short term for 12 months, that's 12 months without a qualified health plan. Scott, I think that, oh, no. Maybe I'm trying to think. Scott, did you want me to unmute you, and did you have a question? Your hand is raised, so I can do that. Let me know. All right, I'm going to do it anyway. Scott, can you hear me? All right, so it must have been just a delayed hand raise. All right, well, that brings us up to the end of our questions. As always, I really appreciate you joining in. Please take a look at our GEMINI program on our website. I think many of you can certainly benefit from it. You know, this group shared bonus starts with your GEMINI application and the group business that you submit. It's going to run through the year. It started as $25,000. It's now up to $45,000 and growing. And what that means is if you send your group business here and throughout the year, you will get a piece of that pie proportionately based on the business that you submit, starting with your GEMINI application date. So take a look at it. Give me a call with any questions. We're very excited about the program and our new group offerings. You know, we really are excited about those as well. So give me a call with any questions. And as always, I appreciate you joining in. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.